Talk about rock. Let's talk rock, yeah, rock.
Who's your favorite guitar player of the 90s? Is it Slash? Is it John Frusciante? Is it the guy from the Black Crowes? I mean, the 90s were great for guitar music. You had Aerosmith's resurgence. You had Van Halen doing the Van Hagar tours with some great opening bands like Alice in Chains. You had the Kiss reunion. You had Guns N' Roses still going for the early part of the 90s. You had Carlos Santana come back. You had the 90s alt-rock revolution from grunge to Third Eye Blind and bands like that. You know, the more jangly radio rock. Even some of that was great, you know. The Fastballs and Counting Crows of the world. So, who are the top 5 guitar players of the 90s? It's a tough one, man. You could even say Johnny Resnick is one, because for all he lacked in virtuosity, he created sounds of his own with all of his innovative tunings. So I compiled just a very short list of 5 guitar players that I thought were influential and iconic in the 90s. So a disqualifier in this was they couldn't be the singer. So you're not going to get Kurt Cobain or Jay Mascis. Also, I tried to pick bands that lasted throughout the entirety of the 90s, so you don't really get, you know, like the short-lived bands or even bands that made the transition into the millennium. So like you West Borland fans, like West Borland's not going to be on the list. Sorry. I'm a West Borland fan too. And then I didn't really pick a grunge band. So my 5th ranking member, I kind of figured, well, actually I changed the list because the original 5th ranked guitar player was going to be a little bit higher, but we changed some things. So we'll just get right into it, I guess. So number 5, big user of the Digitech whammy pedal. One of 3 guitar players on this list to be a whammy user. Sounds weird, but I need to get a Digitech whammy pedal myself, but the one I want's like $400 because I want the drop one too, with the drop tuning thing, because I want to do like slide stuff with it too with the lap steel and make it really cool. But anyway, Tom Morello would have been higher had it not been for friends don't let friends become comrades, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, here's him with, you know, a lot of people are going to be mad that Slash isn't on this list, but Slash is kind of an 80s guitar guy to me, even though Guns N' Roses was a little bit like later. They were like the 80s, 90s transition. You know how like a lot of like the new metal bands were like the 90's to 2000s transition. Guns N' Roses was kind of that transitionary band. But anyway, so we got Tom Morello at number 5 because I mean everything he did with the scratching, and you know he created a lot of really cool guitar sounds that players still strive to get to this day. All right, so next, pictured here with his brother, who actually wrote more of the Stone Temple Pilots songs than you think, is Dean DeLeo. So Dean, I think he was gonna be my number 5 on this list, but like I said, friends don't let friends become comrades. This is America. And anyway, STP, great 90's band, dude. Their songs all over the radio, man. So you can't really talk crap about STP. If you do, like, you know how there's that shirt out that says Nickelback fan or liar? There needs to be one for Stone Temple Pilots too, because I mean, yeah, they've got some absolutely fantastic songs. And I mean, Dean plays them live, so even if he didn't write them, he plays them. So this isn't the best songwriters of the 90's. This is just shooting the shit about the 6 strings, baby. All right, so number 3, I think he might be the most fashionable on the countdown here. In his Neil Diamond days here, Mr. James Iha. So, I mean, just go on YouTube and watch James Iha being funny for 10 minutes videos, and it'll brighten your day up, man. He's awesome. I'm a huge fan of the Smashing Pumpkins and his tenure in A Perfect Circle, which was in the 2000s, so we're excluding that, even though I saw them in concert in this era right here, so you can see this band in all of its glory. In my opinion, this is the definitive lineup of A Perfect Circle right here, even though I don't think they all even played on the 13th Step album. I'm not sure. I know James didn't. I don't know if Geordie White did, or Twiggy, as some of y'all might know him as. But anyway, James Iha just being all cool, man. Him and Darcy hanging out, and people always want to talk about the Adam Jones Silver Burst from Tool, but I first wanted to get a Silver Burst because of James Iha, man. So take that, you Silver Burst bandwagoneers. But here's one more of James Iha just being cool, because that's really the job of a guitar player. You just be the quiet, cool guy in the background and rock out when it's time and get on the bus when it's time to leave. And if you carry your own gear, that's a plus too. Amps are heavy, but these days, I don't know, do people even use amps live anymore? I haven't gigged in like 4 years, so you tell me. All right, number 2. Wow, we're going quick here. Johnny Greenwood, our second whammy pedal user. Sorry, I was gonna say whammy pedal user, but it came out whammy pedder. It's early. I'm drinking my coffee. You can see I'm just hanging out here in my chair, back of my head glued to the seat. Too bad it doesn't recline. If I lean any further backwards, I'd be going over. Be YouTube's funniest home videos. I look better without the hat. Sadly, because I like wearing hats, but I look better without the hat. Chicks say that to me all the time too. They're like, you should just not wear your hat. You look better without it. But whatever, dude. Man's going man, ladies. Now show me your tatas. Said no Johnny Greenwood ever. Does Johnny Greenwood even speak? He speaks. He speaks. Just not very often. He does more interviews than he used to. But yeah, obviously you see all of his, you know, synths and stuff in the background. I thought I had another picture of him on here, but I don't, other than this one, because nothing says 90s like the Tibetan Freedom Concert. Take that, Tom Morello, with your communist sticker on your guitar. The Tibetan Freedom Concert is anti-commie. Right? I mean, I don't really know. I'm not a political science major, so I don't know. All I know is Tibet was ruled by communist China, and people wanted to free them, including Johnny Greenwood. But most likely not Tom Morello. So let's get back to Johnny Greenwood here for just one more second. I just wanted to point out in this last photo here, he looks like he was who's the guy from the 1975 that dated Taylor Swift for like 2 seconds? Matty Healy. Yeah, he looks like Matty Healy there. And just, if you're a 1975 fan, if you get the reference here, they're just girls on the background of this picture. They're just girls. It's a good song. Go listen to Girls by 1975 and just get in touch with your inner 14-year-old boy. That sounds wrong. All right, so speaking of 14-year-old boys, this guy was a hero to many of them in the 90s with their Floyd Rose tremolos and their offset guitar bodies made by Dean Guitars. In 90s slime, but most likely not at Nickelodeon Studios, Mr. Daryl Abbott, also known as Dimebag Daryl. I mean, what do you say, man? Pantera. Go listen to those Pantera records and look at his necklace and compare it to MGK's new guitar, even though MGK could never shred like Dime. I mean, the MGK guitar doesn't even have a tremolo. It's got the hardtail, so it's yeah. But anyway, back to a real guitar player. This guy, yeah, Get Ya Pull. And I mean, nothing was more iconic than the flames and the pyro and Pantera live shows, man. I was never lucky enough to see them live, and I mean, say what you want about the new Pantera, dude. It's not Pantera. It's not Pantera, dude. So when Phil Anselmo asks you how many of you have been to a Pantera show before, and then most of you don't raise your hands, and then he asks how many of you is this your first Pantera show, you shouldn't raise your hand either, because it's not a Pantera show, dude. It's not. I'm sorry, dude. Without this guy and without his brother behind him on those drums, it's not Pantera, man. But he's easily the most influential, most iconic guitar player of the 90s. So tell me how wrong I am in the comments for not only my beliefs in guitar playing, but also my beliefs in politics, if you want to call it that. Even though I'm a political atheist, But we'll see you guys later, man. I don't really have too much else to add to this discussion. I wasn't even gonna make this video today just because, I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm just a musician who's not in a band right now. So I don't know, man. I'm also not gonna audition for the Smashing Pumpkins, even though I do love James Iha, but I'm more of a Kurt Cobain fan than a Billy Corgan fan, and I feel like Billy Corgan would just like kill me in my sleep in my hotel room one night, because I would be like, so Billy, you and Courtney in London in '94, just weeks before, actually days before the Rome incident, what's up with that? And then the next day they would be like, Tim Trutone found dead in his sleep in his hotel room on tour with the Smashing Pumpkins. Then you guys would know what really happened with Kurt. I'm just kidding, man. Or am I? I don't know. Let me get my tinfoil hat. Oh, also, as far as 90s guitar players, I forgot to mention Dave Navarro, dude. Early PRS enthusiast. He was playing PRSs before even Carlos Santana made him popular. And Jane's Addiction did reunite in the late 90s. Dave Navarro played on You Oughta Know, the Alanis Morissette song. And then he was in Red Hot Chili Peppers for a couple years, and I really like a few of those songs on One Hot Minute, man. And when I was talking about that album in another video of mine I did recently, I said that Walkabout was my favorite song on that album, and I misspoke. It's actually the last song on the album. It's called Transcending. That song is awesome, dude. Transcending, One Hot Minute, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Go do it. Anything else I need to say right now? Don't forget to pass go and give me your $200. This has been another episode of the Tim Trutone Talk Show.